Welcome to Twin Souls on Fire, the podcast that answers the question, how to find soul's counterpoint in another.
Every week we take a deep dive into another aspect of the journey toward reunion for all twin souls.
So sit back, relax, and get comfortable, because nothing you know will ever be the same again. It's time for Twin Souls on Fire. Welcome to Lightning Strikes Twice by the Twin Souls. I'm one half of the Twin Souls, Brian Gangle.
And I'm Lori McNeil, the other half.
And today it's all about rituals. And before we dive into the pod on rituals, a quick reminder that our live event, Twin Souls on Fire, The Experience, is happening on November 27th and 28th. And you can get all of the exciting details of what you can expect at this extravaganza at our landing page, TwinSouls.Live. And there we have interactive experiences for you, and of course the fun Evaluate Your Mate. You're going to absolutely love that one, so don't miss that. It's a great experience. And you'll learn about all of the dates that we have and all the amazing content that we're going to have at that 2-day extravaganza, the Twin Souls Live Experience. And we have two different tickets, Lori. We have our virtual ticket, and we have our in-person ticket. And of course, we're going to also be in Orlando, Florida, and Boise, Idaho, Honolulu, and then we'll be in Ixtapa, Mexico, probably around February of 2022. And of course, don't forget our relationship reconstruction, our live webinars every Sunday night. And if you want to get the recording for that, it's in our newsletters and on our website. And you can also send us an email, and we're glad to get you any of these recordings to the pod. Pod is recorded on Spreaker, and you can pick up those episodes, all past episodes. And boy, we have a lot of people listening in and loving it. But today, it's all about rituals. What an amazing topic for the Twin Souls to tackle. And when you were talking about reunion and Twin Souls rejoining, well, one of the things that happens is, like we said, about amplification, amazing applications, but rituals really become a big part of the relationship. And when Twin Souls reunite, the whole thing revolves around all of these different rituals. And let's get into it. We got 7 different rituals that we're going to tackle tonight. But the first one is going to be celebrating dates. And I don't think you can get any bigger than with birthdays. And normally for me, when I was young, we used to have, birthday cake and balloons and, games. And I used to have all my friends over. And, birthdays were a big thing. Then suddenly around 10 years old, it capped off with a big giant present. And then suddenly that ritual started dropping off. And then I started going to other, in my teens, started going to my friends' birthday parties, and the whole ritual changed. Then in your early 20s, it changes again, and sometimes you partner up, and things really change in terms of those rituals of dates. But then all of a sudden, you get into your 40s and then into your 50s, and you don't want to celebrate. It becomes like it's an anti-celebration. I'm getting older. You don't want to have those markers in time. Then Twin Souls reunite, and suddenly birthdays become an incredible event. And so how did we celebrate my birthday? What did we do?
We dressed up.
We dressed up, and we went out to a diner, a 1950s style diner, and we just didn't go to the diner. We went dressed in costume.
We had to show up in style.
And here we are. She's wearing her poodle jacket, pink poodle jacket. You imagine, Lori McNeil in a pink poodle jacket, a big bow with polka dots in her hair. And here I am with a wig, a 1950s slicker wig and dark sunglasses and a jean jacket, with the sleeves cut off. And here we go. And and what would it turn out? It turned out that ritual of dressing up for birthdays became the most fun birthday I have ever experienced in my life. So let's talk about celebrating dates for you, Lori, and what it means to you. And let's have a particular focus on birthdays.
On birthdays. So as an adult, I've actually had to relearn and incorporate different types of celebrations and rituals around special dates and special holidays. And it's just been almost an interesting process to kind of almost relearn. Like most people learn that in their younger years, and I've actually had to kind of learn that and establish that as an adult. So it's been interesting.
And what about when twin souls reunite? What have you found that's different right now in terms of rituals around dates?
We have so many rituals around different dates. So, and ones that we're establishing all the time. You know, it's kind of funny because we talked about how we dressed up for your birthday, but we're actually getting ready to do that for my birthday. So that was something I think that's maybe even kind of turned into a little bit of a ritual.
That's exactly what it's turned into, is birthdays are now an occasion like Halloween. And it's amazing, in the COVID era, it seems like everybody's dressing up as though it's Halloween every single day. And maybe we've taken that tongue-in-cheek to a whole new level as we're heading out tomorrow. And, we're mid-October. We're heading out for a birthday celebration, an earlier celebration. And you're going dressed as a mermaid, and I'm going as King Triton. And this is just going to be hysterical. But what it means is that what we've done is taken the ritual of birthdays to a whole new level. Let's talk about rituals of celebrating accomplishments. So for celebrating accomplishments, for me, what it's been about is taking a look at these benchmarks in time. And whenever we did something like we started Business Essentials Unlocked, or we started our podcast, this podcast that you're currently listening to, these are all accomplishments. And we always take time out now to actually take a few moments to celebrate this particular marker in time, that we started something, and anytime we reach a little benchmark or a goal, again, we go out and we celebrate that accomplishment. When twin souls reunite, it's about celebrating every single accomplishment by marking it in the calendar as a point in time. And all of a sudden, when you have more markers, time seems to slow down. When you only have 3 or 4 markers for the entire year, the year goes by real quick. Time speeds up. For twin souls, time does not speed up. Dates or more markers and accomplishments that you have, time actually virtually slows down. And that means that you and I enjoy more moments of living together. And we share that now with our friends, our neighbors, and our loved ones. Let's move on to number 3, which is being together in good times and bad times. And these become certain rituals. And so for me, you and I have a tremendous amount of discussion, certainly about good things that are happening in our life, and also bad things that are happening in our life. And we often discuss these things in the most strangest places because we're constantly having conversations. And they can be in the back of a taxi or in the back of an Uber. You and I suddenly get into a conversation which is really deep, and it's about good times and bad times. And we look at this as a ritual. And one of our rituals is we don't sweep anything under the carpet. We had a conversation in the middle of the night last night, which most couples would have been a breakup. But for you and I, we're having this conversation in the middle of the night. Why? Because it's one of our rituals that we don't let anything go. We don't sweep anything under the carpet. We don't stuff it under the mattress. We bring it out into the light on a consistent basis. That is one of our rituals.
True. And because that's a ritual, it actually doesn't bleed over into the next day when you talk about something right then.
Absolutely.
As frustrating as it may be, no matter, the timing, whatever, it's you don't sweep it under the rug. You get it taken care of. You talk about it, even if it takes several hours, because you don't let it ruin the next day.
It means that the next day, just like you said, is like a magic Etch-a-Sketch. You shake it over your head, and the day is a clean slate, and it does not bleed over to the next day. And although we had a very interesting conversation about things that we felt were going to be bad times into the future, and we're looking at trying to repair it, that ritual of discussing it, whenever it's fresh in our minds, no matter where we are, automatically leads to the next day being incredible, productive, loving, tender, great memories, as opposed to letting it fester and allowing it to bleed over. That ritual of not allowing it to go any further is extremely powerful for the reunion of all twin souls. Let's move on to number 4, which is time rituals, but not necessarily yearly time rituals, rituals for morning, afternoon, and evening. Tell me about your morning rituals as a twin soul.
I love our breakfast parfaits on the balcony.
Oh, I love it too. I love it so much.
That's probably become one of my favorite time rituals. that we've established. And we actually established that really, really early on, actually, because you are an amazing preparer of food, beautiful food, and you prepare amazing breakfasts and parfaits and different things for us to enjoy and start our day.
And I love it because it's something that I really love, is to be in service to you, and to for you to have that break in the morning, and for us to have that amazing ritual of sharing a beautifully prepared breakfast together. And it can be something as simple as a smoothie together, or even just simple as a glass of orange juice. But it's something that we do as a ritual every morning. We have breakfast together. We never break from that ritual. And afternoon, our ritual in the afternoon is we like to stay up late at night. We're very productive. We're recording this podcast very, very late at night. But we take an afternoon nampa, we call it, as opposed to a nap or an afternoon sleep. We take a very short, brief afternoon nampa. And that nampa actually refreshes us. If you let it go too long, then it's going to not refresh you. But if you get that right length of sleep, and I talk about it a lot in my health practice, about getting that little bit of afternoon sleep. And in a lot of corporations, actually, they have actual nap and sleep rooms for their executives to refresh themselves, because they know what a time constraint it puts on their lives and how much work they have to put in. And a lot of times they put in such long hours. So to make sure that they're fresh and healthy, they actually encourage naps. And I encourage in the relationship having that afternoon ritual of having a nap together, especially in the COVID era now, where a lot of couples are working together and spending more time at home together. Having that ritual, I think, is fantastic. What do you think of the afternoon nampa?
I was not used to actually taking naps, maybe because I don't want to take them by myself. But definitely as twin souls, it's a lot more fun to take a nap.
Absolutely. And what about our night rituals?
We go for a lot of walks. So I'd say one of our night rituals is definitely going for a walk. And whether that's just for exercise because it's beautiful, or whether that's to kind of, rehash the day or whatever, but we connect differently when we're walking around at night, and you definitely have that different perspective on the world anyway.
Absolutely. As soon as the sun goes down, the whole world changes. And the world gets quieter late at night, and so we go for that late night evening walk, no matter what the weather is, whether it's 3 feet of snow or whether it's a crystal clear, crisp, beautiful summer night. We go for that walk as part of our ritual, and what it does is it actually unwinds and unpacks the day, and actually gets us set up for our romance. And we're big on romance and oxygenating the body before romance, guys. Pretty important out there. But before we go down that rabbit hole, hey, let's talk about holiday rituals. What are your holiday rituals like? And how has it changed now that you are twin soul?
Well, everything's more fun when you're with your twin soul. Plus, everything is amplified. I mean, we've talked about that before. It's just way more fun doing things with the right person than just going through the motions.
Let's talk about, we talked about themed dinners, but finally, let's talk about places for rituals. And you and I have a ton of places that we mark for rituals. I'll talk about elevators, you talk about bridges.
Okay.
So for elevators, we have a ritual, and that is that whenever the elevator's going up, I always hug Lori, and that is my way of saying to her, we're going up in the world. And no matter where we have been throughout the day, no matter where we're at in terms of our mood or emotions, we're going up, we're elevating, we're ascending. And twin souls are constantly in a state of ascension. So for us, for me, one of the rituals, we get in an elevator, we hug automatically. And even if the people in the elevator are looking at, what are they doing? Well, that's our ritual. And so I encourage you to develop your own unique rituals as twin souls, or if you are on the journey finding your twin soul, begin the concept in your mind of accepting different kinds of rituals in different kinds of places. What about bridges?
Bridges. The fun thing about all of these rituals is that they've kind of just evolved. So, they just kind of sort of happened, and we loved them so much we then started doing them intentionally. And definitely our ritual with bridges was like that. The very first time that we met physically in person, outside of our virtual dating time, we just couldn't keep our hands off of each other. And so we found ourselves more or less just kissing all the time. And we found that the resort that we were staying at the time had a lot of bridges. And so then it became this natural, intentional thing that every time we crossed a bridge, in the middle of the bridge, we had to stop and basically kiss for a few seconds or a couple minutes or whatever we felt like doing. So it actually started out just the fact that we just were so happy to be in a reunion that we found ourselves on a lot of bridges, I think, in that particular very first time. And then it became very intentional no matter where we are walking around any kind of a bridge, doesn't matter, that we always stop intentionally now and kiss, and that's become a really fun ritual.
And for me, metaphorically, the bridge is just what a bridge is. It's the joining of two land masses. And sometimes there's a water body underneath. And, the song, Bridge Over Troubled Waters. And it takes me back that you and I were in such two different countries, two different time spans, two different time zones. So the odds were so far against us. And yet, as twin souls on the path to reunion, we found the bridge that bridged the gap between us and brought us together. So bridges have been a metaphor. And so whenever we cross a bridge, we celebrate that metaphor with a kiss. And that is an amazing ritual. So for you, rituals, whether they're places, holidays, times throughout the day, good times or bad, accomplishments, or celebrating dates, setting a time aside and marking it as a mark in time as part of your overall rituals will do a number of things for Twin Souls. Number one, setting the time and marking the rituals will definitely enhance the relationship. Number two, the more rituals and the more markers you have in time, the slower time will go, and you'll have more time for enjoyment between twin souls, and you'll just find that life is just much more enjoyable if you take the time to mark those rituals. How do you want to close off the rituals?
It's funny because when you think about being completely focused on your twin soul and your relationship and being intentional about having that be your focus of what's important to you, all of these things that we talked about tonight are definitely things that are almost a roadmap or a guide in really fun ways to constantly stay focused on your relationship. So you don't let time just pass you by. You don't let opportunities just pass you by. You're very intentional about how you're connecting with your twin.
I love that. And I hope that you take time to set rituals for yourself. Just a reminder, if you happen to be in the Markham, Toronto area on November 27th, 28th, Twin Souls on Fire, the live experience is going to be taking place, a 2-day extravaganza. You definitely don't want to miss it. You can get all of the exciting details at TwinSouls.Live. And remember, our relationship reconstruction live webinars, the links will be on YouTube, the links will be on our Gmail and our MailChimp and our databases. And of course, you can always contact myself or Lori. My email is bgangel777@gmail.com, and I'd be happy to send you out any of the recordings, including the recordings to this pod. And Lori, how do they get a hold of you if they want to get a hold of you?
I'm Lori McNeil. I am one half of the Twin Souls.
I'm Brian Gangle, the other half of the Twin Souls.
Be sure and connect with us on social media.
And until next time, blessings to you all. We love you.
Bye for now.